All right. So we have one person from my Y group, so she's familiar with the routine, but everyone else is from the South Carolina group. So welcome everybody. So we're gonna do a guided meditation today. So just a couple of things to sort of think about as you kind of focus on kind of how this is going to work, or perhaps what to expect, or the way to think about this. So meditation is at its essential core around learning to focus your attention on an object. So the object of your focused attention, what they might refer to as the drishti. Um, and what we're trying to do as we meditate is just kind of maintain that focus, knowing that our minds are going to wander. And that's perfectly okay. So, the key in all of this is that as you're listening to the guided meditation and kind of following along, and if your mind starts to wander, then the key thing is to recognize that wandering. And as soon as you recognize the wandering, then you come back to the meditation object, which in this case is going to be mostly my voice, but I will be guiding you through a process. So it's kind of the meditation itself. It's to be expected for you to have mind wandering. So if it happens and you're having trouble focusing or whatever, your mind seems to be in a lot of places, that's actually pretty normal and to be expected. And I've been meditating for a while, and there are days I cannot focus my attention and days that I can focus my attention much better than that. So either way is fine. So one of the things to think about and to help you with the process is as you're focused and as your mind is focused, um, and as you're listening to me, if your mind starts to wander and you have recognition, you can label that. And when I say label it, it's really not trying to identify anything beyond the label being thought, emotion, sensation, right? Recognize it, label it, let it go, come back to the focused attention. Okay. So there are sort of two things that you're thinking about as you do this, or two things that are happening. We have the your focused attention, and also what we have is peripheral awareness. So when we talk about peripheral awareness, it's kind of all those other things in the background that you're not really aware of that might arise as your focused attention as you get distracted or something happens. So if all of a sudden a loud noise happens, your attention would instantly focus. And that's okay. Again, we just want to come back. So that's really all we're really trying to accomplish for this. The basic principle of really what we're trying to get to and go to as we sort of move forward is the idea of really understanding how our mind functions and to sort of slow us down to sort of see where our mind goes and to observe it. To essentially, you can think of it as getting into the idea of metacognition, right? So meta awareness. We're trying to be aware of how our mind is working, where it's going, and to gain control of it so we don't respond or we don't react, but we respond to things as they come at us. So again, if you can think of that and think of the cycle as focused attention, distractions that will happen, coming back to that. And that's really all of it. So get into a comfortable position. Hopefully, you're all in a quiet place. You can lower your lights or do anything of that nature if you wish. And we can kind of go from there and we'll just begin. So I will time us. I have my watch on, which will let me know when we've hit 20 minutes. And then once we hit 20 minutes, we'll come back and we can talk or what, however this it will work. So we'll go from there. All right. So as we sit and we get comfortable and we slowly close our eyes and we take a deep breath in and out. And as we sit and begin our meditation, we recognize what we bring with us today. And so we can bring a lot of things. We can bring the work of the day. We can bring our to-do list. We can bring our anxieties or stresses or any one of those things. And wherever our mind is and our feelings and thoughts are, We want to recognize that and just recognize it, acknowledge it, and then we want to let it go. So as we do this, we can think about this much in the same way we think about our breath. We breathe in through our noses. We feel the air come in, much like thoughts might come in, or emotions or sensations. The air comes around. We get to the point of transitioning from the in-breath to the out-breath, and we let the out-breath go. And this is how thoughts and feelings approach us also. They come in, we experience them, we feel them, we think them, we sense them, and we let them go. So our breath becomes, in a sense, a metaphor for our mind. And we sit and we take a nice deep breath. And we focus our attention and we follow our breath and we slow down our thinking. Think about as if you're moving in slow motion and you can see the breath, the air, the oxygen from the external environment coming in through your nose and almost walking up to the top of a water wheel. And as it gets to the top of the water wheel, it starts to spin down. And that keeps going and going until we exhale. And we repeat that process and we focus our attention on our breath. Slow in, exchange point, slow out. And again, in and out. And we can lay our hands on our abdomen, on our bellies, and we can feel the sensation of our bellies rising as we breathe in and collapsing as we breathe out. So we recognize that our breath is not just felt through our nostrils and out our mouths, but that we can feel it in all parts of our body. And think about one oxygen molecule as it enters your body and follow its path. You breathe in, and that oxygen molecule gets into your bloodstream. And it follows your bloodstream through your heart. And you can sort of see it move. You can picture it moving through your heart and being pumped out and around your body, through your arms or your legs, into your muscles, giving you energy and oxygen, which allows those muscles to function and to stay healthy. And it rolls to all parts of your body, exchanging what we need from the external world into our internal world, which reminds us and reinforces the notion of our connectedness with the outside world, and therefore our connectedness with all things. And that oxygen molecule gets absorbed, and then the breath and the air takes out products that we no longer need, carbon monoxide, which now is the exhale. And that leaves us and goes back out into the world. And those molecules spread, and you can sort of see them as the wind takes them away. And you can picture that from the exhale out into the environment, to other living things like vegetation, which requires carbon dioxide for it to breathe. And then that process repeats itself in the tree. You can watch and feel and see the molecule running through the tree, and the tree exhaling oxygen back into the world. So as we think about this process, we come back to our own breath. We breathe in, we breathe out. We feel our bellies rise. We feel our bellies fall. We feel our lungs expand. We feel our lungs close up and pushing the air out. And we repeat this over and over again. And we focus on the awareness of this process that is happening. And we sit and we breathe. And we slow everything down. We slow our mind down and the process down. Almost like you're watching a movie in slow motion, with the movements very slow. And we observe our mind in this slow motion movement, in and out. And as we sit, we envision ourselves perhaps in a park on a cool evening. Perhaps it's 40 or 50 degrees, requires a sweatshirt and a jacket and a hat. And as we sit in front of a fire. We feel the cool air from the outside. We feel that cool air on our skin and the sensation of it. We feel the warmth in our core from our jackets or our sweatshirts. And we feel the warmth of the fire. And we see the fire kind of glittering. We see the orange color, the blue color. We see the wood as it transforms from wood to charcoal, from kind of light blonde or brown to a charcoal black color. We see the transformation. And we recognize in seeing the transformation that all things are constantly moving and changing. And we recognize that movement. We watch the fire and we see it burn and we see the smoke rise. And at first, the smoke is very condensed. We can see it easily. But as we look up into the night sky and we follow the smoke as it rises, it dissipates and becomes less visible and less visible until it is invisible and it just merges with the air. And we keep gazing up and up, and we notice that it is a dark night, but a clear night, and we are out away from the city lights in maybe a country atmosphere. Maybe we're camping in a field, or maybe we're even sitting on a beach where there are no artificial lights. And as we look up, we turn our head from side to side, and we notice stars starting to show up. First, we see a few stars that are bright or are faint, and then it brightens. And as we see the brightness of the stars, and as we focus our attention on them, we become more aware of how many there are. And since it's a cloudless night and we're in a very dark environment with no artificial light, the sky becomes lit with dots of light that we can see and that we can experience. And the light that we see that hits our eyes, we can envision that it has traveled light years to get to our eyes. What we're seeing is not really what is at the star anymore. That light is gone. There's new light coming, constantly moving towards our eyes, oftentimes not visible to us, but always present. Sometimes clouds cover it, and you can envision a cloud or a set of clouds rolling across the sky. And what was bright and visual to us is now disappearing from our sight. And we watch the clouds sort of come across, and we can envision and see the wind blowing, pushing that cloud across the sky that's blocking out the light. And we watch it. We watch it go from west to east, slowly getting blown across the sky. And as we focus our attention on the cloud and the stars, we recognize that we're not really feeling the cold or the heat of the fire anymore, because our attention has been focused on something else. And so we remember that there's much there in our peripheral awareness that we have awareness of, but that our mind, for the most part, blocks out. And our attention is always directed at some object, one thing at a time. And the cloud passes, and we let it go. And we drop our gaze back to the fire, and we hear crackling, the wood breaking, burning, cracking into pieces, dropping. And we listen. We focus our attention through our sensation of hearing, and we hear the crackling, little pops as they go off. And we come back to our breath to center ourselves. And we breathe in slowly. And we breathe out. And we look back at the fire and we see little sparks. And these sparks arise, much like thoughts, feelings, sensations arise in us. So again, in the natural world and in our mind, we can envision our mind working, the sparks rising, the thoughts, the sensations, the sights, the smells. They come, we focus our attention on them, and we let them go. Much like the sparks light up, they pop, and they disappear, and new sparks come. And the fire burns, and we notice the wood is starting to burn out. So the fire is getting smaller and smaller. And so we have a stick in our hand, and we can feel the stick. We can feel the sensation of the stick on our hand. And we focus our attention on the roughness and the little points that perhaps are sticking out. We find a comfortable spot for our hand. And it's a long stick, so we poke it in the fire. And smoke rises and sparks go. And the fire starts to light up again. It reanimates itself. And we watch the reanimation of it, and we sit back, and we put the stick down, and so the sensation on our hand is now gone. There's no more feeling of the stick. And we watch the fire, and we become aware of the sensation of our bodies touching whatever we're sitting on: chair, mat, floor, ground. We become aware of the connection points, the sensations, those connection points. And we can envision that in those connection points, we have electrical impulses moving through our bodies at the speed of light. But if we slow that down, we can see the electrical impulses through our nervous system, up through our bodies, into our brains, where we become aware of the sensations. And so we feel our back, it's the back of the chair, or we feel the floor underneath us. We can feel it on our behinds and on our legs. And if our legs are crossed, we can feel one leg on top of the other. If our hands are crossed, we can feel our fingers perhaps intertwined or laying on our thighs. And so we focus our attention on these sensations. And we feel the sensations. And we come back to our breath. And we come back to our campfire. And we slowly breathe in. And we breathe out. And we feel the external environment. We feel the coolness of the air or the warmth of the air. If we envision ourselves outside, we can feel a slight breeze. We feel the sensations. And as we sit in this environment that we have created, we allow whatever emotions or thoughts arise in us, whatever memories perhaps they trigger, whatever associations are made. We allow that to just rise up, and we sit and experience them. We let them be, and we let them go, much like the sparks in the fire, or the wood as it burns, or the wind as it blows by. And it reminds us and reinforces us in the notion that all things are impermanent. All things are coming, being present, and leaving consistently over time, always. And we let them go. We practice letting these things go and dissipate, almost like the smoke in the fire. We let it rise, we let it leave. It will be replaced by other sensations, other thoughts, other emotions. And we are comfortable with that. And we look at it. We try to become an observer of what we see rather than being part of it. We watch it. We see it. We see the thought arise. We look at it as if it's in a mirror outside of us. We can kind of picture that on the inside of our eyelids with our eyes closed, as if that is a screen. And we can see that arise, and we can watch it and let it go. till a new picture takes its place. Or perhaps it's a sound that takes its place. Perhaps it's a sensation that takes its place. We learn to watch it, to see it, and just let it be for what it is without trying to understand it, just as an observer. When we come back to where we are and we sit, we take a breath slowly in and slowly out. And slowly in and slowly out. And we focus our attention just on our breath. We're back in our houses, in our chairs, in our couches, wherever we're sitting. And we slowly come back. We slowly open our eyes and we come back from our meditation and we breath and we finish. So we always finish by saying namaste, may the light in me shine in you. And that is our meditation for the day. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to end the recording.